Welcome everyone to the lastest of last minute open mics. I'm so glad all of you, the remaining few of you could make it. It seems like everyone's had a combination of heat stroke and exhaustion for tons of other reasons. CC Oshaga just emailed me to say he's on the road. James and Jan were passing out watermelon and lemonade to people today. So they're tuckered out. Carol Weston had a doctor's meeting. She just got back. She's exhausted. So this is like the day to be either exhausted or heat stroked. I walked down Center Street in Jamaica Plain today. Actually, it was South Street in Jamaica Plain. And I saw some guy throwing out boxes of light bulbs. Thankfully, they were in a plastic case, but they were plastic light bulbs. And he was just throwing entire boxes out into the road for cars to run over. He apparently had a bag of them. And he apparently had a vendetta against them. I don't know why, but it was the strangest thing. And I tried to get the light bulbs out of the road just so no one would run them over, but too late. So heat stroke is affecting everyone a little bit differently. So be careful. Be careful who you run into. Be careful how quick to anger you can get, because holy hell, some people are crazy out there. So we are going to get started with our open mic. We'll do a double round robin and just say, I am so glad we did this. I'm looking for the routine again in a bad way. And we're going to actually have someone you don't usually have start the open mic started out. Let's go to our phone contributor, Nancy Dotson. Let's have you unmute yourself. Press *6, Nancy. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Summer's heat. A street burns with fiery heat. A warming wind blows the heat along mildly. Rain, rain. Refreshment is needed for the thirsty ground. Fast-flying clouds, let the flowers drink. Come on, jewels of the summer, drink and lift your flowery heads. Sweet flowers relish the sun and rain. Delight in your short-term bloom. The sea's joys reflects the circle of our days in the fire that heats. Rain, rain, refreshment is needed for the thirsty ground.
Thank you, Nancy. And God, Christ, does this mean I have to go today? All right, I guess we'll deal with that. You're getting some applause. And now we're going to go to Magister Galt, Mr. Ed Gentleman Galt, as I used to call him, but now he's Magister Galt. I guess he can pick his own nicknames if he wants to, though I rather it be organic, but I like it. Let's welcome Mr. Galt.
Thank you. And your friendly minister of thought crime wants you to write letters to your senators and congressmen about the Roe versus Wade decision being overturned by Dobbs, and maybe Merrick Garland on actually making a decision to charge Trump. That wouldn't be too bad either. We need a little less fascism in this country lately. Anyway, the poem. I hope I haven't read this here lately before. This is called Edgewood Drive-In, 1967. My maternal grandfather actually met Rock Hudson. He ran a drive-in. I can't remember which one it was now. Maybe Cinderella or maybe Snow White. It was the one with the elves, or maybe it was the one where the birds deliver her veil. I wasn't watching the feature film, but kicking up the dust in the playground where I fell off the roundabout and scraped my knee, I saw my granddad in the projection room where he gave me a Band-Aid, but I was in and out all night between the playground, the concession stand, and the projection room, which had the most intrigue. Yeah, it had the most intrigue for a boy of 5. With its big machines and alien tools. My granddad had met Rock Hudson once, but Rock Hudson didn't get to hang out in the projection room. Only I could. Then there were the greasy fries. Okay, and that was Edgewood Drive-In 1967. It's no longer there. It's a historic relic,
Right.
But I'll say that, it's kind of almost a museum piece. But, I'll never forget those greasy fries. They were to die for and of. Okay, thank you very much.
Not a problem. I'm starting to miss French fries myself now in general. Luckily I have rice. If I gotta have a starch, at least I have some kind of starch waiting for me. All right, we're gonna go to Ms. Julian Powers next. It's a pleasure to have her. Julian, you have the floor.
Thank you. This is called Dimming the Light. Dimming the light when the fin circles. Teeth hide until the eyes roll back. Mouth snaps to feel something. Bloody weakness calls hungry hunters, prowling empty gut. Dimming the light now, down so low, braced while floating, fear washing over. On the ocean of lessnesses, stuck here being gnawed at, the floor filling up. Sails so worn through, no wind can carry me. Bailing out, but just barely treading. Sink slowly into where it waits. My wounds are its bait. Still have lantern light, one lowly paddle, and new approach in mind. Snap the last paddle in two, a stay to ward off any stalker. Leave the boat here and swim towards the shore. Standing my ground and brought my light. As I move homeward by gliding through the dark unknown, afraid of the fin circling again. Lie back and face the sky, swiftly kicking my way by, holding the stake and the lantern, determined to get back. Found the courage to push past the fear of jumping into the water with my fate unclear, riding hope back to land. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. And I think maybe we'll do 3 round robins tonight, and or 3 rounds of a round robin. And I'll start with I guess I'll end off and help start the next round with this one here, one of the Stone Soup Croutons. This is from the week of June 22nd. First time I'm reading it out loud to anyone else but myself. This one's called Narcissus Song. God has a you complex, knows when they'll strike. Does the Almighty know who they are anymore? Do they want to end it all behind your bathroom door? Excuse me. Do they want to end it all behind your bathroom door? Destroy the universe of others to achieve divine solitude? Write a love sonnet to self, praising own imperial rule. Simplify life with chickens, marsh, a moon to sing praises. An electric car to apartment, hand puppets to behold hubris. The divine one is about to drop a bomb, beat us at own game, start wanting off their meds before taking on all that is. Claims all the sleepless nights from existence, ringing ears, 1,000 drowning clowns, purposeless as pierced bowls. Pray for a sandaled prophet. To preach under 13 ladders, maybe an ogre to hide you in belly, do 12 more labors in your place. Learn to swim for next angry flood. No rain, just God mocking your tears. And let's do I promise the next one will be better. Let's ask Nancy to unmute herself for a second of 3 times. Nancy, if you're ready to go, we're ready to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
The rose. I enter into a garden. Snipping a rose, I hold it longingly. The fragrance enthralls me. The petals are fresh and tender. The thorn where I hold it tears my flesh. I bleed for the rose. My finger does not hurt, for I love the rose. I prick my finger again. It does not hurt. The rose, a burgundy rose, is the color of blood. I remove the thorns from the rose's stem. I float the rose in water. Then I pick 2 double white roses, and I float them with the burgundy rose. Their fragrance is like the perfume's aroma. The smell captivates me.
Thank you, Nancy. Stay tuned for round 3. For now, we're going to go down the list, as it were. So let's get back to Magister Galt.
Okay, this one is a good one for today. I mean, as hot as it is, be a good hot summer's day poem. It's called Casualty. I wrote this kind of an interesting way. I just picked 5 words out of the dictionary and went with it, and see what it turned into. And it's called Casualty. Reeling after nearly being run off the road, she yelled, "Fuck," and flipped the bird at the guy driving next to her, who hadn't done anything. Ripped because he was given the finger, and as it was 90 degrees, he floored the gas pedal, speeding into her, ending both their lives. Okay, and that was Casualty. I can't remember what the original 5 words were. It didn't really matter. At least I hope not. What a good poem. Anyway, thank you very much.
Summer Road Rage. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. And we'll go again, second of the 3rd round, 3-round robins. We're going to go to back to Julian Powers. Hope nobody has to do a bathroom break for the next 15-20 minutes. Anyway, back to you, Julian.
Thanks. You're dragging that rotten leg around back to the place you're evicted from now to drill more holes on the clock. The comfort you get from that blanket of death affects you and like it's leprosy. There's holes in the cage around your heart that still let specks of your dear soul shine through. Please hold tight. I have a habit of expecting miracles, and I know you'll be one. My heart will always be open for you. Please don't give up, Tom. Thank you.
Thanks, Julian. And I guess I'll close out the 2nd round. Ding, ding, with another crouton poem. Gives me good practice because I can figure out how I wrote these wrong, because I write these and then I don't look at them for a long time. And I generally type them out the morning of Friday. I barely have time to work on these ahead of time. This one was written when the January 6 hearings, started to get going. I think that's the only reason I titled it this. I don't know how much more it has to do with the hearings, but the poem's title is called Hearings. Hazmat suits do nothing to protect you from next outbreak of hospital bills. Is that what they're fighting over upstairs? Who watches, keeps score? Which one will utter a forbidden word first? Turn ass by way of lost face. Grievances torn up to bleed out like milkweed, ground stomped on like uterus. Shouts over theory of the one everything, just to ask where buried bodies are. Miles to go before anyone sleeps. Tonight, everyone is a rebel army hiding. Everyone is a cat biting dog or a dog biting cat. Where's the story? Every cause is a lost relative lionized after meeting one drunk at reunion. Every relative is 50s pop song feigning innocence to prom-dressed daughters. Every old wife is a prisoner on parole, ankle bracelets on ring fingers. Every woman tries to keep uteruses still. Neutral on train, screeching to stop. All right, so thank you. Okay, let's go now to the last round. I could probably do 5 or 6 of these all night, but Molly's dad's coming over with the car, and I got a packet for tomorrow. I'll be going to back to the Cape where I came back from on this past weekend. And then my vacation decathlon finally comes to an end. So we are going to ask, without further ado, Nancy Dotson, 3 poems in a row. Can she do it? Can it be done? Has anyone ever done it before? Have I done it before? I don't know. But Nancy, if you'd like to read one more time.
Joy. Joy means love. Riverbeds overflow with water. The sun sparkles with no melancholy. Pleasure stimulates joy. Joy is the buoyancy of life. My spirit has joy, and its currents abide within. Communicate life. Respond to love. Unconquerable gladness dwells within you. Joy.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I think we're going to turn the forum back one more time to Magister Galt, doing his best Kilroy impression right now. You ready, Ed?
Okay, here I am. All right. I'm gonna try a little humor here. It's kind of hot. Okay, this one's called Extermination Day. I hope I haven't read this here, at least not recently. Anyway, it was a kind of tradition for me in those days, every Monday, to go to the IHOP in Kenmore Square. They were open all the time. And no matter how late I slept, and sometimes I would wake at 3 in the afternoon, it being my day off, I could still get a half decent breakfast, at least most of the time. There were times I would get there only to have the pancake lady tell me they were closed in order to exterminate. So then she then had the temerity to escort me out to the sidewalk and lock the door behind her to bar re-entry. They went out of business not long after that. Okay, thank you very much. I do miss that IHOP place now. Really do.
I never went in, yet I do.
Okay.
I never went in, but I do too. It's very weird. I always wanted to, but and then they closed, and then all that was left was the Deli House, Haus, which became the
Yeah.
underground cafe, and then became. Now I think it was actually like a weird bar, like a hot dog bar. They sell like foot-long hot dogs. That's the last time I went there.
Oh.
Probably the sushi place now.
Okay.
But one of the very strange places that has at least has survived. It hasn't been like, at least it's a food place in some form or another. It hasn't been torn down to become a massage parlor or something, or a yoga school. Kind of hard to do that with that place.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go to Julian with one more for the third round before I go and we call it a night, or she goes and you all call it a night before I can read, whatever. Julian, your turn.
Thanks. In the quiet of any evening, I can hear the whistle in the distance. The sound brings me back to an old home I had many years ago, just the next town over, where I keep returning to escape deep into the forest for peace. Here, the bittersweet call is gentle, eerie as it is soothing. Listening to that rhythmic pulse of heavy metal moving along its path, while I reminisce about our past, and the rumbling is a bodily memory I still have. When I first moved to that old home, the vibration was powerful and intense from the all senses consuming resonance. Having to pause my life continuously for anything that required hearing. My whole old home would shake when it came night and day, one time even confusing it with an earthquake. All my things slowly displaced from the same passing trains now so far away. Here I hear them moving so faintly, where their tune is only heard during our ghostly chance meetings outdoors as it fades into the night, hearing its echo murmur so softly while passing by. Thanks.
Thanks, Julian. And thanks for everyone for doing the 3-round robins. I guess that leaves only myself. And again, it's good practice for when I actually have the ambition to put any of these things into a book again. We'll see how it goes. It's funny. We have one half of the group is actually comprised of people who helped with the contributions to the recent reaction to the overturning of Roe versus Wade. So I do want to thank Julian and Ed for their work in that, and keep submitting, keep spreading the word for anyone who hasn't submitted to Oddball yet. Maybe I can get Nancy's stuff in there. It's an online journal, but I think you'd be able to still access it because I know you have email, Nancy. So we'll talk. And this is the Croutons poem that happened. This was in the beginning of June, just as we were slowly getting back into doing live shows again. And again, the live shows, I mentioned it before we recorded, but the next live show for Stone Soup is going to be on August 10th with a to be announced feature. And we have some people stepping up who want to read. And also, I should also mention that the Boston Poetry Marathon is starting up. It's going to be part online and part live. No open mics, but there is over 100 poets who agree to perform every year. I've been lucky to be part of it more or less almost every year since 2003, when it was called a variety of names. They've settled on Boston Poetry Marathon. It used to be, when I first joined, it was the Boston Poetry Magazine. At one point, it was the Boston Poets Tea Party. Jim Burley used to switch around the names a lot, but now since he's no longer in charge of it, the Poetry Marathon's been going on strong for a while, and hopefully I'll be part of one of the live shows. But live show or online, you should definitely check it out. It's I know that Carol Weston's going to be part of it, whether she is doing it remotely or doing it live, we haven't figured out yet. But so many good poets that don't make their rounds around Boston until this time, and this will be the first time in 2 years that some people are going to be coming out to meet up again. We went remote in 2020, and are dipping our toes in back into doing live shows. Let's see how that works. Any rate, here's the last crouton poem of the night. And this one's called Cold Bodies. And actually, I should say, this is actually the first one, the first crouton poem when Jin Dunn performed. So let's see how this turned out. Cold Bodies. Yesterday's husks hold selves up on femur stilts, trip up like clumsy flamingos, feigning life. Too bony to be bullies, they don't have a China doll's chance on streets of Boston, let alone Chicago. Not enough bullshit between the lot to get space in public garden. Stand in small pond, avoid catching glances. Nowhere to roost, chicken limbs. Walk the streets, blend like meat to a smoothie. Beggars and pushers all dress better. And with that, I think we could do 6 round robins if we want to, but I think I don't think any of us write good poems that quickly that we can use them all up, and hope to make up the difference by the next reading. But thank you guys for coming by tonight. And like I said, hopefully by the weekend, I'm gonna be having to get in the car and leave tomorrow, and I got packed tonight. But hopefully my girlfriend's daughter doesn't test positive for COVID, and hopefully the vacation will resume tomorrow with all 3 of us back together until we leave the rented cabin on Saturday. And hopefully by Sunday, I'll have an announcement for who the next feature is. We shall see. And hopefully we'll at least get an online feature going. More to come. Thank you guys for all your patience. We'll do one wave. Come on, there's only like 4 of us. We can do it. Come on, Ed. You don't need to be stoic. Okay, he's gone. Oh, here he is. No, hey, way to go. Little tease. Thank you guys very much. And it could be like this all the time. All we need is you. Next time, I promise to give much more advance notice, so we'll have more of a party. But at least it's always a party when a couple of people are reading poems. So thank you guys very much. And the show's over. We'll see you next time. Thanks to all the round robiners. Is that a word? I'm making it a word. I'm bringing it back. Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank
Good night. Did you get the photo?
When'd you send me a photo?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get the photo you wanted me of me waving? I just wondered
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
I
got
did.
that.
Yeah, you're good. You're
That was-
good.
Okay.
Have a good night, man.